Hey, hello everyone, welcome back to one more video. Today's video is gonna be my 1 million DPS AR build that I've been working on for quite a while. Been trying to get this build together, but with the RNG Jesus, it's been not on my side, so I've been not having the talents and the gears that I've been looking for. But so far, this is what I got. It's close to what I want, but it's not perfect, of course. You guys can always improve it with your better gear. So this is gonna be my build. Like I said, it's gonna be a AR build, which I finally got over 1 million DPS. Let's start off with talking about specialization. I went with a sharpshooter, but you can also go with the survivalist. The sharpshooter, I went with that for the three reasons. What I'm looking for in sharpshooter is going to be the 25% increase headshot damage, the 30% increase on reload speed, and also the 30% increase weapon stability, reduced recoil, and faster reacquisition of targets. That's the reason I use the sharpshooter. For the survivalist, it's also good. You can get the 15% increase ongoing healing, the 15% increase protection from elite, as well as crunch time, which is while in cover, gain 10% skill cooldown reduction. And let's not forget, with survivalist you get 15% weapon damage for the assault rifle. So that's one of the reasons a lot of people use survivalist. Both of them work just fine. I prefer the sharpshooter because I'm trying to get as much as headshot damage on this build, because I go for headshot. But if you are in console, feel free to use the survivalist, which will work as fine, and both get me over 1 million DPS. So let's talk about one of the pieces that is gonna help me a lot on this build, which is the main purpose of this build. It's this chest piece, the Ferris Group AB, for a few reasons. One, if you have a one-piece Ferris Group AB, it's gonna give you 10% assault rifle damage. Since this is an AR build, you need that. And second, we have the talent Unstoppable Force, which is killing enemy grants 2% weapon damage for every 10,000 armor of your total build armor. So I have a 218,000 armor. I'm gonna get a lot of damage off this build once I kill an enemy. And another reason that I use the Ferris Group AB is because it gives me 2 talents on the chest piece for this build. Same goes with the knee pads. It's the only knee pads brand set that gives you 2 talents, so that's why I use 2 of these. I use a chest piece and a knee pads. When I have 2 of these, I will get a 10% damage to assault rifle, as well as 10% protection from elite. On these knee pads, I have the hard hitting and patience talent. Hard hitting for that 15% damage to elite, and patience talent after being covered for 3 seconds, armor repairs by 5% every 1 second. This talent by itself is very good, it helps you a lot. And then if you pair it with safeguard, which by the way is going to be on my backpack, it's gonna work even better. And now actually let's move on to the backpack and talk about the backpack. The brand setting here is not very specific, but if I could choose a better brand set, it would be the heralding holding, which will give me 10% accuracy for this build, which I like to have more accuracy on this build. But for now, I have this Wyvern Wear. It's gear score 450, and the reason why I have it, even though the gear score is low, is because the attributes and the talents is exactly what I want on this backpack. It has weapon damage, bonus armor, and health. Trying to get that on the build. And then talents, I have hard hitting and safeguard. Hard hitting, you guys know, is 15% damage to elite, and then safeguard, even though it got nerfed, but the only difference when it got nerfed is that it has now a cooldown after it goes out. So after that 20 seconds, it will be on cooldown for a bit, and then you can use it again once you kill an enemy, which is killing a target grants a 150% bonus to repairing and healing effect for 20 seconds. This talent in here is probably one of the best talents in the game, especially if you solo. It helps you a lot. It works with a lot of talents and skills also. Safeguard is going to pair up with my patience on the knee pads, and it's going to pair up with my drone. By the way, I'll be talking about it in a second. Another purpose of this build to hit that over 1 million DPS is going to be having a lot of raw damage. So on the holster, we're gonna go with the Douglas and Harding. Like I said, and once again, it's the brand setting here is not exactly necessary to be Douglas and Harding. I would rather have IRLD holdings for that 10% accuracy instead of 5% on the Douglas and Harding. Plus, if I had 2 IRLD holdings on my build, I would have 10% accuracy with 10% headshot damage, which will help me go almost 2 million DPS, but I do not have it. So yeah, that's all I have. So for this holster, I have attributes critical hit chance, not necessary on this build, critical hit chance, since we're going for raw damage. And then for the talents, this is the talent that you want on this build. Devastating, gives you 5% weapon damage, raw damage. I'd rather have this on the holster and on the gloves. So if you can get both, devastating will be great, especially if you're on console. If you're on PC, if you feel more comfortable with headshot, another talent that works great is gonna be precise. 15% headshot damage, just raw damage. Which, by the way, this glove is gonna be Murakami Industry. It gives me plus 8% health total of the build, and then attributes is gonna be health and assault rifle damage. You just want to have on the attribute assault rifle damage to work with this build, which is of course AR build. So that health, actually it's kind of low, but still it's gonna help me get that total of the blues that I need on this build to unlock few talents. Which, by the way, let's talk about that. So on this build, to unlock unstoppable force and patience, we're gonna need to have around 7 of the blue attributes. And then to unlock safeguard, you need 5 or less red attributes. And then last but not least, let's talk about the mask. On the mask, I went with the Gila Guard. I want to have at least 1 Gila Guard. This is actually one specific brand set that you want to have on this build, because it gives you plus 5% total armor on your build. So it's gonna help you get that armor higher. That way you have unstoppable force, hitting for harder. This one is specific, actually is very good mask that I have. It has 3000 health with a 33% damage to elite, and then on the talents I put the hard hitting in there to give me plus 15% damage to elite. With that, I have a lot of damage to elite on this mask by itself, and it's gonna give me a total of 83% damage to elite on this build. For the weapons, I chose the police M4. You could go with the P416. I would recommend going with the custom P416, which will be the better. The military P416 hits less than the custom, but the reason I'm not using the P416 is that I do not have the talents that I want. I want Optimist and Allegro. This one is not too bad, it still hit hard. I can still hit over 1 million DPS. But the problem that I want to have the Police M4 is because I found out that Police M4 is a lot more accurate compared to the P416. So that's a matter of a choice. If you want to go for body shots, definitely go with the P416 and have a higher score. That way you have more damage per bullet. If I put this one, I have 20k damage per bullet, but I still, it's just a preference. I still like using the Police M4. But not all the builds though. Some builds I use that P416. The best one, like I said, go with the custom P416. The talents that I choose is gonna be Optimist and Allegro. That's the best talents for combination with this build. Secondary is just a sniper, nothing too special. Anything in here that you can choose. Some people like to use the chatter bar, which is just fine. It will give you probably more DPS if you kill an enemy. And then the sidearm, like I said, doesn't matter. Also, it's up to you. In my case, I chose this one that has the third talent rotated, which is while equipped and in cover, all skills damage and healing is increased by 25% for 10 seconds. So as you guys see, when I'm in cover, I'm getting my armor back with that patience and safeguard working together, plus this talent I'll get a lot more. So yeah, it just works together. Which, by the way, let's talk about the healing, which is the skills that I have for this build. It's gonna be the Kim Launcher and the drone. Sometimes I put the Hive in here, the Reviver, depending if I'm a solo mission. But yeah, most of the time I have these two. The drone actually will pair up with Safeguard. I don't know if a lot of people know this, but when you have Safeguard activated, that drone is gonna heal you for a lot more. And the Kim Launcher, well, that's basically almost everybody's favorite, so it's very good healing. It's all a preference in this point. The most important of this build is the DPS. So I'm gonna leave you guys a few showcase of the DPS on the fire range. Like I said, the Police M4 in here is my best weapon so far. I can hit over 1 million DPS up to 1.6 million DPS. But the P416 will hit just as hard. There's a lot of potential in here in this build if you give a little bit of a tweak here and there. But for me, it's working just fine. Try it out for yourself, see how it works for you, and let me know in the comment section below how you think of this build. By the way, before you ask, yes, it does work on a group just fine as is in solo. Yeah, I'm gonna leave it in here. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. I help you guys out. If you guys enjoyed the video, please hit me with that like, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace.